Hi everyone, CohhCarnage here with another Thoughts video, this time for Control. Control was a very interesting game. I just wrapped up the main story. Control is a third-person kind of action-adventure game at heart, but it does exist in a very interesting world, and it has a very paranormal, surreal story surrounding it all. The main gameplay is going to be following Jessie Faden as she kind of gains more strange, weird powers as she moves through a very unknown situation, slowly learning about her world and the mission she's on as she does it. There are a lot of unknowns that are thrown at the player immediately. I'm not going to spoil too much of it right now, but just know that this game definitely hits the ground running with the weird, and it basically keeps coming until just about the very end of the game. The main story is relatively linear in itself. There are no like branches or decisions that the player has to make throughout the main story. But that being said, the game does take place in a giant building that has lots of different areas to go and explore. There are lots of secrets off the main paths. There are apparently a lot of side missions that you can do for various factions and people. And when I finished the game, I definitely could open my quest log and see that I did have many more hours waiting for me if I wanted to pursue them. So for people that like side questing and that type of stuff, maybe something to look into. The game itself is a kind of action-adventure game with some farming components. There are upgrades and weapon creation systems that require you to farm resources, and enemies do respawn kind of semi-regularly as you go through places that you've already beaten. So for people that want to kind of max out their character, get all the upgrades, get all the best weapons and things like that, there is a system to do that. So you can find some hours in that if you choose to do it. There's also a huge amount of lore, and the environments are done very well as well. And together, those kind of synergize into a very interesting world. That was actually one of the best parts of the game for me, was the fact that there were these very cool case files that kind of fleshed out different weird situations. There was a lot of painstaking realism in the offices. You could really look around some of the offices of the main characters and see tons and tons of little details that definitely added to the immersion. Also, there are a lot of connections to other games, which I really enjoyed as well. And actually, I may be playing a game again sometime in October called Alan Wake, because yeah, there were some very interesting connections I was not expecting in there as well. In terms of the quality of the game as a whole, this is definitely feels and plays like a AAA game. A little bit more variance in the main storyline, a little bit of length in the main storyline, and maybe a little bit more meat in the ending portions would have been preferred for me, but I did have a good time playing it. And considering the story does continue after the main story, I do kind of understand some of the, or considering the world can still be played in after the main story, I do kind of understand where they did that. But that being said, I don't want to talk about the ending too much for spoilers. So anyway, that's about it for my thoughts thoughts for Control. I did have a good time in this game. I did really enjoy it. I do feel like the world was definitely the real motivator for me. I really enjoyed kind of the interesting paranormal environment that the game was creating. There were some definitely some interesting hooks involving the main character that did carry all the way to the end. And yeah, a fun game. Now the next question is, do you recommend this game for $60? That's going to be a bit more difficult. I think that this is honestly more of like a $35, $40 game given the length. And however, I will say that there will be people that will get many hours out of this game if those people want to 100% it and kind of get all the hidden things and continue playing after the main story, for instance. But I feel that it was a good game, a very solid product, but it's a little bit hard to recommend for $60. There is more stuff coming out for this game, so maybe not only will it drop in price, but get some more content. Apparently there are 2 story DLCs coming that can help flesh out the world and narrative, so that could be interesting. But yeah, all in all, a fun game. I did have a good time with it. Not going to be everyone's $60 cup of tea, but a very solid entry, and yeah, I did have a good time with it. Thank you guys for watching this thoughts video. Hope that helped you make your own decision. You can also, of course, check out my playthrough on YouTube if you'd like to skip around and see some of the gameplay and things of that nature. Big shout out and thank you, of course, to all the people that watched during the run on our YouTube and Twitch. And yeah, see you next thoughts video. Thank you.